Yeah, I kept it, so it's like it's there. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Groveland Township regular board meeting for February 13th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Speeding through
I would.
it. Okay, and Janelle, would you please take roll call?
DePalma,
I'm here.
Back,
Here.
Bills,
Here.
Christopher,
Here.
Mr. Gully. Here.
Okay, has everybody got a copy of today's agenda? And if so, are there any questions or comments? I think the only thing I had sent in that I got late in the afternoon in the email was the road agreement for the tri-party funds. So I'd like to add that in, I guess, after F as G, tri-party funds. And that came in late in the afternoon. Okay, and I'll explain it when we get there. Other than that, I don't have anything. Does anybody else have any questions or suggestions for the agenda? If not, somebody needs to make a motion to approve with that amendment.
I'll motion that we approve the agenda with the addition of the tri-party funds to be discussed.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
By Gina, any other questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're approved. Next is the minutes for the January 9th meeting, and also we have the fire board meeting from them. Any, they looked okay to me.
I didn't make a boo-boo.
What was that?
Mr. Holland.
No, it's just 2022. DePalma motion to accept the January 2022 has been,
Oh,
yeah, I'll fix that.
very good, thank you.
Are we talking about fireworks too?
No, the fire one says 23, I think.
No, it says 22.
Yeah, the final
too.
one says December 12th, 22.
They both say 20.
We've got January 9th, 23 and December 12th of 2022.
Okay.
Are
So
you just
we'll make
wanting to
that-
complain? Is that what you're doing?
We're gonna motion then to amend both of those, I guess.
Well,
Oh, is there a comment? you have?
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
in the fire minutes on the last page, it says resident Mr. Hawley. But I know the guy of which you're speaking, and I think he lives on Hawley Road. Yes.
Mhm.
But his name is not Mr. Hawley. Yeah, it's,
Couldn't tell ya.
we just need to change the name.
He's on Wally Road.
Do we know him?
James, I can look it up. I know who he is.
Somebody probably called him Mr. Holly. like,
Do you have the sign in, Stevie?
Yeah, he'll be on the sign-in.
Kevin will know, because he is the one who wanted to write along.
Right. Yes, that's him. Mhm.
KRUEG.
Okay.
What
are we gonna do?
How exactly there might be a typo.
Okay,
They are.
all righty. Are there any others?
No, that's all. I
Okay,
know.
we need a motion to approve the minutes for both the regular and the fire board with the noted changes.
I will make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes, Groveland Township Board, January 9th, 2023. And the fire board minutes, also January 9th, 2023, with the changes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Teresa, okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, they're both approved. Next, move to financials, budget amendments. Patty?
Right now, I do not have any. I am pretty sure though, in March we'll have some. Kevin?
We have to do approval of minutes for discussion.
The budget meeting,
Budget
you don't have any meetings or any minutes.
We'll have to-
Yes.
They're just not typed yet, that's all.
Yeah,
We'll do them next month, that's okay.
so I have no budget minutes. I
Okay.
went through unless somebody saw one I missed.
I
And
wouldn't
then-
know if it bit me.
The accounts payable for 101 were $55,080.90. 249, 130, and 701 is $243.59. For a total of $55,454.49 for the township general building and trust and agency. And the fire fund for the month was $19,465.88.
Um,
Did we have something on, Teresa?
so there was that one check for $10.36.
We fixed it,
Yeah,
but I think it came out.
we did fix it, but I think it's supposed to be added to the 101 and taken
well-
away from the 206.
I thought you and I had done that. Did we add it and take it away?
I don't.
We
I don't
talked
think so.
about it.
No, you just said it had been fixed and.
Okay.
so that's
Because I
all
looked at the
did.
numbers. and-
Okay.
So we have to add the 10.
50,000.
So if we're gonna be technically 100% correct, right?
$10.
It is fixed, but
Yes.
$10.36.
36
added
cents
on
gets added on to the
to the
township,
top line.
and $10.36
And
gets taken away from the fire.
Right,
Something was paid out of fire that should have been township. So that leaves us with,
well. budget. Yeah.
$55,464.85 for the township total. And for the fire total, it will be $19,455.52.
Motion to, anyone make a motion to approve that?
Did somebody make the motion?
I don't
No,
think
not
so.
yet.
I'll motion that we accept the account payables with the adjustment of the $10.36 added to the township total and taken from the fire department total.
Okay, there's a second,
I'll second that.
Gina. Okay, any questions or comments from the board? And if you take a roll call on it, Jeanette?
Jack,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
De Palma.
Yes. Okay, so that was reports for general fire and funds, right?
Yes.
Okay, next are investment reports, Teresa.
was financial reports.
yeah, we need the financial report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
Excuse me. Yeah.
after looking them over, I will motion to accept the financial reports as presented. And that's it.
Any other questions or comments
Yep.
from the board?
Anybody have
So,
anything on it?
Second to it?
I'll second it.
Okay. No questions or comments? Okay. Well, the reports are just for our own information. We don't need to have a roll call on that, so where everybody's good on it. Next, now we'll get the investment report.
Okay,
I'm
the
sorry.
investment report, so. There's really not a whole lot to say other than, so. A lot more interest was earned in January than in preceding months because interest rates are coming up. And again, last fall, we moved money from Oakland County's local government investment pool over to Michigan Class, which is a different investment pool that is earning about 5 times the amount of interest. So
Kudos for you for doing that because it's a substantial
Yes.
increase in revenue that we haven't
Substantial.
seen in a long time on our
That's right.
savings.
that's right. So other than that, the numbers are there.
All right. Yeah, they look great.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes.
we have nothing for presentations tonight, nothing for public hearings, and nothing under unfinished business. So we'll move right into new business. And the first one is to discuss the Traffic Improvement Association. I think everybody is aware of that. That's an independent group that's used by pretty much all the communities to help validate information we use when we try to make traffic changes, like things like putting signage up or traffic signals or stop signs or making improvements like we did over on Oak Hill where we put the turn lane, you know, that type of thing. Traffic TIA helps us get all of the data from the state's collection of accident reports and stuff to help make those decisions easier when they're going through the road commission for Oakland County. So this fee, which I think was this year, was it $200 again? Yeah. Is of course you see the support letters from everybody, like the Oakland County Sheriff saying they endorse and support them and would ask us to approve it. We have for every year that I can think of. So I would again ask that we approve the $200 fee for support of TIA for the 2023 year.
I can support that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay, if not, Janelle, do we have a roll call vote on that?
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Palma,
Yes,
Pat,
Yes,
and I think I got to sign this form tomorrow. To,
yeah, I'll take, I'll see.
Did it?
Get it.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then next item is discuss the board of review appointment. Patty, I think you put that up because somebody. was
We
referring
need
to it.
the retention of the meeting record. Discuss retention is B.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. I did retention of the meeting records. Yeah, go ahead.
And so it's come up in some discussions with the clerks about the board minutes that are taped. And the length of time. There is no length of time they need to be kept. So the actual information of the meeting, the true copy is the actual board minutes, not what's on the or in the video, right? So my thought is, I looked into, some are keeping them, you know, for a month, some are keeping them for maybe a little longer, but there really is no reason to keep them, in my opinion, and it's open to discussion, once the board minutes are approved. So they could be removed and the next set, so like January's board minutes have been approved. That'll be removed, the video, and then the new video from February we'll put on, and it'll be a month that people will have to be able to watch it.
Listen, in our case, just
Or
listen, right?
listen.
Okay. Do we pay for storage for that audio recording?
currently we don't, so currently everything is stored, once it's recorded, it is uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a maximum storage capacity on that.
So doing it on YouTube, they're loading it,
Yeah. it's
which
where it
means
goes
then they
to.
get listed in our library index on the website, and that's gonna get full with a bunch of nothing.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah. So eventually storage will run out.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to speak in Pat's place.
no, that's
but,
fine.
The other thought of it is that though, while the majority of people understand that the minutes are the legal recordings, it doesn't actually mean that the general public understands that.
Uh-huh.
And to prevent any type of confusion down the road or in a situation where these meetings, the recordings could be brought back up. Just in discussions, and some of the other clerks, other officials had recommended that maybe permanent recordings aren't the best idea.
Because again, the minutes are the actual information of what went on at the meeting.
Have you had any dialogue from our municipal council on this?
Municipal.
Oh,
Like Will?
Oh, no, I didn't.
well, we don't even have to record them though, that's
Yeah, they're
why.
not required.
These aren't required,
And
and there's no statutory on keeping them. There is on the actual board minutes, we have to keep paper copies.
Oh,
And they
Forever.
have to be stored. They can't be, destroyed. You have to keep your paper copies.
so we were, I don't know why this is so hard for me to grasp, the suggestion that we're not legally bound to keep them.
Right.
So the issue is, should we erase them or throw them away?
From month to month.
Okay.
Well, keep them until the
Right, right.
adopted for the next
Right,
month. so
the
they have
next
the whole
board
month to
minutes
get
are
it. Yeah.
adopted.
So officially, the minutes are mainly supposed to just record actions taken by the board,
Yes,
right?
Right, not discussion.
So, not exactly, so there's a. It depends on who's taking the minutes, but I know in the past, there's been, like. Paragraphs written about things, but that's not necessary. It's only
not
really
necessary.
the actions taken by the board. And so leaving the videos up, to me, is like, everybody gets to hear all the discussion about what went on, but in the end, only the action taken by the board makes any
Is relevant,
difference.
Yes.
Is relevant, and so it could cloud, I think, there could be misunderstandings that, well,
Mhm.
they talked about all these
Exactly.
things, but only decided to act upon this. Right.
Exactly, yes.
So that's the confusion you're trying to avoid.
Yes.
By
Yes.
taking them down. Okay.
And all the minutes actually, you were correct, have to contain is the motion, report, roll call vote. However, it is a good idea to give maybe some idea, not the whole discussion of how the board, why the board came to that decision. Because years down the road, if you're just gonna read a motion and,
No background. on
no
it.
background on it. Yet going back to
Their
the
minutes usually
tapes,
have the.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, the
some
minutes-
information,
Yeah.
yes.
So then why are we still recording?
Well,
Just wondering,
the
because there's no
public-
visual.
We don't have to do
And
them
there's
at
no
all,
participation.
but it was done during COVID and I think some people thought they like it, but. I know hardly anybody's doing it anymore.
Listen in. Is there a way to monitor that?
It is a video recording, Gina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a video.
But can you check your hits on YouTube?
To see how many views.
Views you got.
Okay,
It's-
right.
yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I do think it's nice to leave it up there for a month.
Yeah, yeah. So they
just-
have background.
Somebody might have a problem doing the second Monday of the month.
Right, if they can't make the meeting and they really
Right.
wanted to hear what's going on, I think it's a good information piece to leave out there
Mhm.
for a month, and then when the minutes are approved at the next meeting, then
That one
that
comes
one comes
down,
down, the next
the
one
new
goes
meeting
up.
would go up.
Yeah, I think that's quite reasonable.
So
Somebody want to make a motion to that? effect?
I'll motion that going forward, the YouTube videos are taken down monthly. Once the board minutes are approved of the prior month, and then post month will be taken down, the prior month will be put up on the YouTube to be
I
viewed
think you mean. the
for a
opposite.
month. Did I
It's the-
say it
the-
backwards?
Yeah, the prior month will be taken down and the
Yes,
current month. will be
current
posted.
month will be posted. Yes.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, just if you take a roll call on it,
Christopher,
Yes.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes,
back,
Yes,
Bill.
Yes,
okay. No, I jumped the gun here.
Yes.
That's the board of review appointments, Patty.
we were, Janelle has been our fill-in board of review individual, and she's going to be gone.
I have not.
You're not?
I'm official.
Oh, she is now official. I apologize. Yes, she is. So we didn't have,
Duly noted.
How many jobs do you have?
switch hands. Look, she's still got her little sunshine glasses.
Just in case, I'll be prepared.
So
Well,
we
she works
needed
full-time.
a fill-in board of review candidate. And Judy, I know her as Judy Lurs, but it's
Judy Lewis.
Judy Lurst Flynn.
Flynn. I couldn't think of her last name.
Yeah, Judy.
Judy
Lurst.
Lurs Flynn came in. She's interested. She filled out the paperwork. And she will be needed for this board of review, as Janelle will be at the Clerking Institute for the week the board of review is going on. So I motion that we hire Judy Lurst Flynn as the alternate to the Groveland Township Board of Review.
Support.
Support, okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's done. Very good. All right, next item is to discuss the playground updates. And Teresa, I think you've done certainly the lion's share of the work on this.
Okay, so in your packet, you have, let me just I'll walk you through the quotes. So it has been. Well, first of all, we've noticed that a lot more people are using playground area in the back. There's been a lot of activity in the back, a lot of people parking back there and, using that area, going out onto the trails and so on. We've seen, some families out there using the playground and so on. And it's been sort of a concern of mine amongst other people's that we're spraying every year and I just don't like that, but also going out there and taking a look at it all. There's the mulch surface and everything. It's just really turned into topsoil and it's not providing the cushioning that it's supposed to be and so on. Also, there's some parts of the play structure that really should be substituted and changed to.
They're pretty weathered looking.
Yeah, they're getting worn. The platforms, the surfaces that the kids stand on, climb on, those are getting they're deteriorating and they're becoming like snagging hazards and things like that. And so I had originally thought that a grant for like the Spark grant or a passport grant might be something that we could take advantage of with all of the money from the Build Back Better and so on. So I went to the conference, the MTA conference in Port Huron last fall, and I met a couple of different people who do grant proposals. They work with municipalities to put together these grant proposals. And a couple of them were gracious enough to come out here and meet with Bob and I out on the playground. And we just don't have the scope of work that would probably be approved by some of those bigger grants, because there's rubrics and you have to score a certain number of points on them. And looking through the rubrics, it was pretty easy to see that we just aren't going to qualify for those types of things. But our participating plan, PAR plan, whatever the company,
Insurance
it's an
company.
insurance company. They offer mini grants for improving the safety of things that are within your facility. And so I got a few quotes from people who came out here to actually, there are people who are in the business of playground renovations, playground upgrades, and so they're included here. The one that I think is the most reasonable and comprehensive is from Mid-States Recreation.
That's
Um,
the original.
Yeah,
And this is the original.
this is so the play structure out there is from Play World Inc. And the phone number that's on the play structure is the phone number that I called, and they put me in touch with their regional director or the regional sales office. And then the local rep is, you can see his name is on here, Brian, and he lives out near Fowlerville. So he came out here last week and he met with us, and really, really informative and very helpful. He really helped us make some decisions. And we looked at the existing structure, explained, what the vision was, and he was able to take all of that and say, well, we could incorporate a fitness element, because I had hoped to, with a grant, it's like my vision was we would put some chin up or pull up bars out there as freestanding fitness elements. But the play structure safety guidelines require a certain radius around every freestanding thing. And so really, unless we wanted to greatly expand the pad, which is not really my desire. I don't think it's anybody's. I think that structure, the pad that it's on is a sizable space and it fits for what we have. But this gentleman was able to say, well, using the existing structure, we can add on a couple of posts coming off the right-hand side. And we can add a pull-up bar and also they call it spinning or turning bar. So chinning, turning bar. Well, okay, so they're called the same thing. So one of them would be a chin up or pull up that would be up higher, probably higher, taller than me. And then the other one would be, you know, lower so that kids could pull up to it, and you could also jump up onto it and maybe do, you know, some circles, that kind of thing. But he was the only gentleman, the only contractor who came up with that idea to connect it to the existing structure. And that allowed us to stay within the footprint that we already have. So that was really interesting. That was, to me, it was like, oh yeah. And also he said, any other contractor, if they're going to go ahead and do anything with this equipment, they're going to have to go through his company anyway, because they are the manufacturers. And so all of this equipment is made to order from their factories. And so anybody else that is going to actually be able to get this same stuff is going to just jack up the price a bit more for their profit. So this is probably, in my opinion, the most affordable and most comprehensive. He did look over everything, and he's a certified safety inspector for playgrounds as well. And he did state that there are some things that are needing some upgrades. We've got some S hooks or bolts. They're not bolts, they're just S hooks. And evidently those are not up to code any longer. They are hazards for catching on things, or maybe kids squeezing their fingers in. And also Patty and I had chatted, we really wanted to see an accessible swing take the place of one of those toddler buckets. And so the accessible swing, you'll see it's on here. And let's see.
One of the slides will be new.
One of the slides is the bolts are coming, just they're not through yet at the bottom. However, he did state the double slide is in really good shape. The single slide, it's not, you know, it's going to need replacing sooner or later. And so while they're out here and they're doing the work, he included that as a line item. And yeah, so
A couple of inches too.
replacing all the platforms that they stand on, the slide, adding the chinning and turning bars, fixing the swings, putting the accessible swing, and then excavating the whole thing down to 12 inches. As you can see, excavating the site to 12 inches and then hauling everything away, putting in the correct engineered wood fiber safety surfacing, putting in a drainage layer, excavating off the additional 4 inches and putting in the pea stone and so on. And then enclosing the whole thing in a 4-inch wide border, which would be 12 inches deep, that would prevent crabgrass creep from coming in on all the sides. So this is a complete like facelift, and
It's like a major tune-up to this one.
it is. And since that was dedicated in the year 2000, it's 23-ish years old, right? He did say that playground structures have a lifespan of approximately 25 to 30 years. However, he said that this particular one is in really good shape, because what wears them out is, of course, weathering and how much use they get. And so this one is in a good spot where it doesn't sit in the shade. It's got sun on it, and it doesn't get as much use as if it was on, you know, an elementary school playground. So that all being said, his grand total was $40,900.64. That includes shipping of everything, price of every single thing, and all the labor to do all of the installation. And I mean, it's like done. They do it all and it gets done. And so I was considering that, if, you know, what the board decides on this, I'm going to go ahead and apply. If we approve this, I'm going to apply for a $5,000 grant from our insurance company, Par Plan, to offset the cost of any of this. They said that pretty much all of it would be eligible because it's a safety upgrade. So I then thought, well, what if this is too much to do all at one time? How would you break it down? And I asked Brian from Mid-States Recreation, and he said that if we wanted to break it down into 2 years, we could do the equipment stuff this year, and then the mulch and stuff
Landscape.
next year. But I think that the mulch stuff is a part of the safety problem
That
too.
was part of the reason we started looking at,
Yes,
we gotta do something out there.
yeah, so
We need to.
I know we had budgeted some money in for it last year, we didn't do it, and this year we decided to budget some money in, hopefully for this coming up fiscal year. But I did include another person's quote because if you look at the next one, it's from Game Time Surfaces. And this is another company that does playground renovations. He had come out here and taken a Google shot off the internet there of the play structure area. And then his quote is based on just doing a poured in place surfacing, which the mix, you know, they mix that rubber surface coating and all that stuff. But this is just for that, and installing 2 benches. They have to put concrete curbs on it, and that's just part of the whole process because they have to be able to pour that rubber surface into.
It's just even caution against doing that though, because of the difficulty of removing the pipes if they go bad. in 20
Correct,
years.
yeah, and this is 80,000 just for the surface, and it doesn't even include the playground upgrades that we know need to happen and the ones that we'd just like to see happen. So this was just to kind of give you an idea of what it could cost if we were going to go, you know, all out whole hog, let's do everything, you know, whatever. I do believe this is Brian's from Mid-State Recreation is going to be a really, really nice facelift, safety lift, everything at a much more affordable price. And if we can get the $5,000 grant, then that just offsets it. And part of the reason I don't want to break it into 2 is because if we broke it into 2, we could possibly apply for the same $5,000 grant another time around, but that would require doing this in 2 different stages, and it should probably, I think the concerns are there right now. Why do part now and part another time?
Safety issues, they need to be done.
Yeah, yes. So, and there is no guarantee that we'll get, you know, it's all depends on how many people apply and everything else, but I like the idea of picking one company that does everything, and we don't have to coordinate with any other people to try to get someone to come in and do this and make sure they're done so that guy can do that. And this is a company that does this, and they are bonded. They are, you know, this is what they do. So that's my presentation about the playground.
And this grant, is it correct? My understanding that it has to be applied for, when's the deadline?
So
Coming
this
up, isn't it?
resolution, if we pass this resolution this evening, then
It'll have-
I have to apply by March 15th. They would let us know by the end of April, and we cannot begin work until we find out if we got the grant. But
Parts
the
would be available.
Mid-States said they were probably 16 weeks out anyways. So this is perfect timing. If we decide to do this, I can get this grant applied for, before the end of the month. And then it should work out timing wise where they'll approve it. We can get the work started in the spring and have that playground all really ready for, people to use it. And I honestly think that with the pavilion and the playground and the grills that are out there, and we've got the porta potty that's there. I mean, we really should somehow get more, we should promote that more. Maybe we can put that on our Facebook page. Maybe we can put something on the website that says, this is for the residents to use. And I don't know how many residents, a lot of them do know, but a lot of them don't, it's.
I had a call yesterday morning from a resident questioning if they could use that for a small family reunion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I said, yeah, we would, just let us know when. Did tell her we were looking at doing some upgrades to it.
Mhm.
So it might have to work around that, but we will reserve that also for the residents. We've done that before. Where we've put a sign that says, this is reserved for the back, whatever,
That's it.
the bills and from the time to time.
I did find today a website that has probably another 50 grant possibilities for outdoor, specifically for outdoor playscapes.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure not all of them are gonna be something that we're eligible for, but it was like random companies like the Dermatological Association to create shade barriers for playscapes in the sun. Blue Cross had one. I mean, just random organizations that,
Okay.
nonprofit. So I'll get you that link too, so you can look at it, like a bunch of them.
okay.
That was gonna be my question. Are we going to have to make this dependent on getting the grant?
No, we have. the
Okay,
money.
okay. I know what we discussed at the budget meeting, but that doesn't exist yet.
Right,
So. I'm
But it
just-
will by the time the parts are.
right.
Oh,
Well, and we also,
in my area, it's more like 8/10 of this is safety.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it pretty much is, except the benches, but the benches,
The benches and the.
I thought the
ADA
benches
swing.
would be better for parents who are, wanting to sit closer to the kids,
mhm.
But we had budget.
Which you don't have to take those benches out because we're
We're,
we're gonna use,
Those.
they're gonna
up there.
redo those. And the ones that came in there are gonna go back there.
Right,
so that's part of this, this bid is that he said that he could take those planks off and just replace the planks. Wouldn't that make it much easier if we didn't have to yank those
Yeah.
things out?
Yeah.
around?
Yeah, so I just better tell you before you got your tractor out there, pull them out.
Don't come to.
no, that's.
I'll do that Saturday.
That's why I'm telling you tonight.
Anyway, we had budgeted stuff for the 22-23 fiscal year, and we never did,
Right,
spend it.
Right,
And so, but that's a good question. Are we gonna make it dependent upon getting a grant, or is the grant like gravy if we get it?
I like,
yeah.
excuse me, I like the idea of going forward.
mhm.
Just pursuing the heck out of grant funding. If you've got 10,000 in grant money, that's a win.
Oh, I'll certainly do that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I think it's warranted. And I think it's good for the community.
I know even just cutting through to get to the trails, there's never just, I mean, you always run into people back there and the bikers. It's a busy place back there.
And the grills get used a lot of times once the kids start going back to school or in the fall. When they go back there to run the trails for practices and stuff, strength training and all. We've had quite a few get-togethers back there.
Do you want to
okay,
make the motion?
so I guess I will make a motion that we accept the Mid-States Recreation quote for $40,900.64 to have the playground renovated and facelifted and it's made more safe. And that we, do I have to do them separately, the resolution? Or, so my first motion is to accept Mid-States Recreation bid for $40,900.64 to renovate the playground.
I'll support them.
Okay,
Is there any questions or comments on it? If not, Chanel, could we take a roll call on it?
Mazzarelli?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes,
Jack?
Yes,
Bills?
yes,
Christopher?
Yes,
and I think this you can just use as a discussion item because there's no money involved from us. It's just making an application for the grant like we did when we did the campus.
we have to just
So
approve
you've
the-
told us of it. It's okay if you want to do that.
so do we have to make a
Let's,
motion?
let's
to-
motion and make an improvement of that
Okay.
resolution. That would
Oh,
be-
okay.
So do you
Yeah.
know what number this would be?
Yeah, 2023-005.
005. Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we support resolution 2023-005 for Michigan Township Participating Plan Grant application that it will be applied for by Teresa Bills on behalf of Groveland Township for the playground renovation.
Is there a second?
Support.
By Gina, any other questions or comments from the board? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, covered. Next item is the traffic signs. This is the issue where we were gonna post first two of those speed warning signs on Grange Hall Road at each end, and then two for Trip Road at each end. And so you have in front of you, I went to Alex Raskowski, our old engineer that works at the road commission, and asked them, which are the signs that you guys like that we can use? And this quote is for the two companies they use, and you can see there's like $100 difference roughly between the two. They're both pretty comparable. Now, I did ask them, the guy from Carrier Gable, one of them has the ability to drop a line to it, communications line to it, so you can get information off on it, like how many cars are going 50, how many cars are going 60. But I don't want to do that because that's going to be, I think, extremely expensive and not really necessary. The other one, if you can put an app on your smartphone and then drive up to it and it'll capture that same kind of data and give it to you. So if people were saying, well, everybody's speeding going by that sign on Grange Hall, we could go do a random check on it and see how many actually were in that different category, because the average speed on the 85th percentile on Grange Hall roads actually 61.5 miles an hour. So Kevin and I've had this discussion. We don't think there's a lot of people really speeding. Yeah, we have more than 45. So I would ask that this is for the first four. You have the quotes for both. They're just a few dollars apart. But when I asked him today, he said it was Carmen, but I don't see Carmen written on either one of these. So I'll be honest, I have to ask him tomorrow when I order them, which one of those two quotes are the ones we use. So I'd like a motion today, if it's agreeable, to approve the 4 units that we're buying, not to exceed the 1974, because I don't know if it's that one or the 624. The name he gave me doesn't show up on this quote. I don't see it anywhere, but I'll call him tomorrow, and if it's agreeable and we pass this, I'll get those 4 ordered. We may have to put a couple of little signs up. It depends when Alex and this guy comes out to say, where do you want to actually stick them in the ground?
And what are we,
So all this mounting information is the same for either one that we end up getting?
Yeah, you have to have them on a sign, and typically they try and use one that's there. And I told them roughly we wanted the one at the far end after you get past the 45 and 50 mile an hour signs that are on the curves coming off of Grange Hall from M15 to where it starts the straightaway that's 55. And then the same thing over here, it'll be going east when you get to where Van Road is, because that's where it starts here. And then Trip will do it on the Dixie end and on this end where it curves to go around the park. But Alex or this guy Chris will come out and take a look at it, and all I'm saying is he may decide maybe you want to move it here or there, in which case we have to put an extra one of those 55 mile an hour post signs that they attach these to. So there's no electrical connection to them because they're all solar powered. Chief?
Stacy was looking at grants the other day, and AAA has one for speed signs, and you have to submit it in March, so.
Oh, really?
That's great.
Okay,
Oh, can you get me that information?
The AAA traffic safety grant, so if anything traffic related, it's up to 15,000 and opened January 1st and ends, I believe, March 31st.
AAA traffic
Safety grant?
safety grant.
Okay.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and also, you know, when we talked about this last month, the road commission said 5,500 apiece, so this is a better price.
That's
By 500 apiece,
Yeah.
so that's nice.
It's probably Alex just trying to be safe and shooting a little high in case you couldn't remember, right? But these guys are very good to work with, and the contact lives, I think, in Fenton, so he drives right down the road here. So once I order this, you may want to come out and is this exactly where you want the sign kind of thing? And if it is, we might have to put a regular speed sign up, but we should be able to get this in the mill. So my request would be that we approve up to the higher dollar amount for the 4 units we want to get for those 2 roads, Trip and Grange Hall.
I'll support.
Is there any other questions or comments from the board? And then we'll look into that grant tomorrow, see what we can find on that.
Or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday will be a little longer day.
Okay, with that, would you take a roll call on that, please?
Tacoma,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Ms. Ryan. Yeah.
Okay, good note here. All right, next item is to discuss the parking lot. That was really an informational item for you. Jim went back for us to Allied Construction, the paving company, and had them update their proposal for us, and there's another one coming. We don't have to make a decision today, but it didn't go up too much. It looked like it was about $1,000 or something from last year. Yeah. It's pretty,
1525, 1,520.
but okay, yeah, I know, it didn't go up very much. It was pretty close, but we have it now. When we get the other one, we can put this on the next agenda then and make a decision on. So this was really FYI, unless you had something you wanted to add. Jim.
No. Yeah, it does. I take that back. To ensure that there's comparability, I cut off all the important information from LH quote. So the other contractor has been invited to come out, take a look, which quote the same quantity and the same scope of work.
Okay,
So we'll have 2 identical proposals
Perfect.
in series.
all right.
Yeah, that's always been in the confusion when you've resurfaced, is one will quote, they're gonna use this, and another will quote, they're gonna use that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the difference. So I appreciate getting this in advance enough to find out what, let's see, MDOT SS-1 H emulsion is.
You know.
What is it?
You don't know.
Yeah, you know, Jim, I was just thinking, there's one thing, and we'll have to make this to both of them, but you know, when you come in this driveway here on the west side,
Yeah, you talked.
everybody comes in there seems to miss that edge of the driveway, and it's always a rut right here.
So extended. a couple
Yeah,
inches.
there you go. 4 or 18 inches would probably take care. You could see there's a rut right there. We could do that.
And on the exit
And
side.
And on this side too?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay,
We need to make the exit one a little bit lighter as well.
I need to do that on my driveway at home.
And then you talked about the mailbox area as well, somehow making that, or are we just gonna paint it brighter so they.
We can paint it brighter. We'll get some of that chartreuse green or something, right?
There you go, yeah.
Talk about that.
Glow in the dark.
Camouflage, yeah. Well, we have no problem with people hitting it and it's brown, that's for sure.
They're pretty good. We haven't hit it.
We haven't, but others have. Okay. The next item is the one I wanted to add, that just came in late this afternoon. As you know, we have a special deal with Levy Company to get 3 miles of road gravel a year for at least 8 years. Last year's gravel did not get spread because Chris Dahl had so many projects, he couldn't get ours out. So he's indicated he'll do ours this year. We should get an additional 3 miles for this year to add on to it. I put a call into Levy Company to ask them to call me back and confirm that. They haven't yet, but I'm sure we'll get that because it's in the original agreement. And then we got a letter from Tri-Party, which you should have a copy of in your package today. And that says that our Tri-Party money, which is the money from the county, the road commission, and us together, is $60-some thousand. I called them and asked them if we could use that to spread gravel, even if we weren't buying the gravel directly through the road commission, because we get it through this special deal I have with Levy. And they said we could. So what I want to do is, if it's agreeable, I would like to sign this agreement. Because out of that $62,793 that's available to us in Tri-Party this year, we only have to pay for 1/3 of that, which is $20,931. And that will cover really the 40,000 for last year, and a little over half the 40,000 for the other 3 miles. So we're spending basically 40 grand. We're going to end up getting the whole thing, all 6 miles dumped this year, which is a lot for us to do. So, and we haven't got the roads yet anyway.
I was just gonna
From
ask.
Chris Dahl. Yeah, we didn't get the list yet, but he knows he's got to get us the list in the spring. That usually comes around March. I would just like to sign this because the road commission said, yeah, you can use that for Tri-Party, because the total for 6 miles would be 80 grand. And we're only paying 20 of that. So we pay the other 20 on the first 3. So that's my motion. I would like to approve the Tri-Party road agreement to be used for the cost of spreading 6 miles of gravel this year.
I'll support.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? It is spending money, so Janelle, if we could have a roll call on it.
Jack,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Paula.
Yes. Okay, I'll sign that tomorrow, and then as soon as I hear back from Levy, I've already talked to Chris Dahl and to Bedrock about the spread, so as soon as I hear back from Levy, we'll be all set to order, and when we get our list of roads, we'll be able to pick that probably March or April at the latest. He's indicated we'll be the first ones to get spread this year because they didn't get it last year. Okay, next item, miscellaneous reports, Holly Area Youth.
So this is from the meeting minutes of January 5th, 2023. They had 3 skill building applications received and they totaled $130. The Jacobson Quinn Toy Project reported that 127 families were serviced, which included 374 children. Total donations received were $4,916.23, with expenses totaling $2,859.93. The new board, the election results were Tina Alvarado is the president, Sherry Monet is the vice president, Teresa Blaska will be the secretary, and Nancy Hanks is the treasurer for 2023. They did set up a Venmo account, and it is set up to and can be used for donations, can be received. And I'm not going to say it over here. If anybody's interested in the website or wherever you have to go to, give me a call and I'll be happy to email it to you or write it out. The website will be updated, and it's been being worked on, and the main focus will now be creating fillable applications. That is very useful. Makes it a lot easier. So that's all I have on Hiya.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Teresa, you got anything for BTO?
Yes, Brandon Groveland, youth assistant, has some things coming up. Love and Logic is a very good program, very well attended. It's going to be done virtually this spring, April 17th through May 8th. They have also set up Venmo and PayPal, so for accepting monetary donations. And there are some people on the board who were like, Venmo, what's Venmo? Spelling it V-N-O-M. I'm like, okay, we won't tell Bob that that was, funny, but at any rate, not this Bob. Challenge Day is coming up, March 14th and 15th at the high school, and no, that wasn't you. You know which Bob it was.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
Challenge Day at the high school is one of the things that BGYA puts a lot of money into sponsoring, and they also are having their annual breakfast for their volunteers, and each one of the board members here, as well as the fire department chief, I believe, has all received an invitation to the breakfast. You have an invitation, chief, probably in your mailbox, or it might be. Well, I'm inviting you on behalf of BGYA. It is March 2nd at 7:30 a.m. So it will be at the Edna Burton Senior Center. And their new athletic director from the high school named Jesse Johnson, and the varsity football coach, Brad Zuby, is it Zuby? Zuby. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I should know, but I don't. They are going to be the speakers, and there's, this is for anybody who's involved with youth in Brandon School District. So it was a very good breakfast last year. Bob, what the heck is his last? MacArthur, thank you. MacArthur is the person you would RSVP to, okay? And then the youth recognition night is coming up on April 27th. And nomination forms can be picked up here at our office or at any of the school district school offices on the BGYA website, or there's an article in the Citizen that does have a link. So if you go online and you look at the article, you can hyperlink to it. So any Brandon School District student can be nominated. March 3rd is the deadline, but of course, we'll take things for probably another week after that as well. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Planning Commission, Jim.
Excuse me, I don't have anything to report.
Okay, and I know that's partly my fault because of the time it's taken to go back and forth between the Renaissance Festival and our township, and all of that's coming to an head. So I think I mentioned to you earlier, you'll get a letter, and a couple of your board members have asked me about it. We'll let you know. We are in discussions with Jim Peterson. I'm glad he wants to talk, but I'm not real fond of most of the suggestions, and I'll get you a letter, and when I do, I'll pass it to the whole board so you all know what's going on too. And Janelle has been absolutely wonderful in compiling and distilling down the issues that I made when I was writing very deep. And Will made where he was writing very deep, and Fishbeck made, and we compiled them all, and Janelle did a wonderful job of putting them together. Will's doing a couple of changes to it. I just got his email this afternoon or evening when I came in. So tomorrow we should have the final draft, and I'll send it to everybody so everyone knows what's going on. We'll see if we can get the meeting going and whether or not we can come to a meeting of the minds. But a number of the suggestions, frankly, I thought were not very good. So you'll get that shortly. So that's my fault. You didn't have anything back.
Is there any merit, Bob, to have a work session with our planning commission in preparation of anything?
It could be. I tell you what, you get the letter tomorrow and see, because I don't know what Will's changes are. I haven't seen them yet. But when we get that, why don't you give me a shout, and maybe you and I and the board can set up something where we can chat what our position, what we cumulatively feel the issues are going forward for the meeting, because I would like to get that meeting going. If you think about this, last time we started in October and we're doing issues for the Renaissance Festival literally the day before they opened. Now we're already into February where we said we need to get going, and nobody was around to talk to or anything. So we're behind the 8 ball here. We got to get a decision made pretty quick on where our position is and what we're going to do to get that implemented going forward. But I'll get that letter and I expect you'll have it tomorrow, because Will said if he didn't get it done tonight, he'd get it to me in the morning. Okay, BZA, anything? Gina?
We have a meeting tomorrow,
Okay. So nothing today, right?
nothing today.
Okay,
Do tell, what,
A resident over off of Dixie, wanting to put a pole barn in the front of the house.
okay.
it's been a while.
It has been, yeah, it has.
For supervisor's report, I told you about the Renaissance Festival because that's consumed a lot of time the last week or so. The other good news is I did communicate to the potential first candidate we had in the tech park, and he got back to me this time right away today. And said they're looking at some stuff and he'll get back to me. So I think that's, and I've talked to both the economic development people from the county and the state, and he's not contacted either one of them. So I don't honestly think he's shopping around. I think they're trying to evaluate what are they getting ready to do. Barry gave me a ballpark price at what he thought it would take to put the road in from Mavis all the way up to the ORV park in the $300,000 to $500,000 range is what he thinks. So that's frankly, that's better than I thought it would be. We'll take a look at that. I have him looking at the proposed contract that the state police wanted us to sign, which I have some reservations on, but I needed to have Barry look at it first because it's dealing with building code stuff. Okay. I'll let you know about that. And really, that's the bulk of what I had. I have talked to the Village of Holly about the issue with the Renaissance Festival. George has been most supportive of it, and I expect him to be right in sync with us, because his one answer to me as soon as I called him was, why don't they just get on and do what you told them to do? And so I'm encouraged by that, but I'll let you know how that goes. I'll have to get back to him. He'll get a copy of the letter tomorrow as well. That's all I have.
Okay. So at the budget workshop meeting, the board had asked about smart municipal credit that we split between Holly Township seniors and the Groveland Township or Brandon Township seniors. And that is state funded, which I
Okay.
thought it was, but I
Okay.
wanted to be sure with
Okay.
everything changing. So they won't change it all. That money
So
will
they'll still
still
get it.
go to them, yes. I did hear today Madonna, who is the gal who usually are in contact with for all this. She has accepted another job outside of the county. So she assured me that we would have somebody new, but they would be helpful also. She's been great every time I've had a question.
George went to that meeting for me, and that's one of the things he's got to cover with me when I get back to him on the Renaissance Festival. But the gist of it is, even though those dollars are coming from the state and may still be going there, the changes of this rapid transit authority that the county set up are pretty far reaching, because the supervisors at a luncheon talked about it. One of the things the county feels they have to do first is put everybody on the same pay scale. So they went to all the different players that are in it that are going to get absorbed into this and said, you got to pay all your drivers the same amount of money, and here's how much it is. Well, for most of them, that was a substantial increase, and they were fine, and their people were fine with the money they were getting. And so now that makes their budget not work. So then they came back and kind of told them, well, the budget we told you you're going to have, you're going to have to cut that now. So this is just a very ugly situation. And I don't think we're going to get any answers, because we're not actually one of the respondents that owned part of like SMART or the senior transit system or the 2 or 3 other ones they had. I'll let you know when I hear from George, but the meeting he went to was because they were trying to figure out how to get some traction on what we're going to get. And up to this point in time, everything's been, we don't know.
I would really appreciate knowing anything that we can do to make sure that those senior centers still have transportation for our
Yeah, well,
seniors.
and that's what virtually all of them are doing. I can tell you all the supervisors were upset about this, because they all feel we had something that worked, met the needs of the community very well. Everybody was happy with it. The employees seemed to be happy, and the citizens were happy. And all that's happened so far in their effort to try and consolidate it into one organization, they've kind of, I guess, picked whatever the highest county rate was. And now that means there's deficit dollars and all the other ones that were running just fine. So they wanted to cut the budgets. I have no idea how this is finally gonna play out.
So you're thinking that they're not gonna get our smart credits?
Well,
was told
I
they were, right?
I think they will from the state money.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the other changes they're making
Okay.
where they may end up losing bus drivers because they had to cut the budget line down because they had to pay them more. Or changes of that
Yeah.
type in the administration means they may not have the people to physically do what we're talking about. And there was a lot of people that
So
were upset.
instead
'Cause-
of us just not getting anything for paying the dollars for this transportation bill, they're actually gonna take away what we do have
That's
potentially?
that's a
Okay.
very distinct
No.
possibility, yeah. And,
That's
and,
not acceptable.
and it's just ugly all the way around now. If something else came out of that last meeting, because I couldn't go to it, we were working on our budget. That's why I didn't go. George said he'd take the notes for me. And so when I go back to him on the Renaissance Festival, I'll find out if anything's changed on that.
Thank you for looking.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry, Patty. I didn't
no,
mean-
that's fine. Like I said, I had called, talked with her and she had said, no, that was,
And it's kind of like,
state money.
we're gonna give you your money, but I'm taking your drivers away.
Well, the thing is with the senior centers, they have to hire the drivers
Yeah.
using this state money, I believe.
Yeah, but I think under these changes with the rapid transit or the county transit authority, they have to
Because-
pay them whatever the rate is they told them.
They,
So
okay.
if you,
so the
yeah, I'm just
price-
saying, if you
I
had,
get it.
if you had $100 to do it, now maybe it's 120, so
Yeah.
you gotta cut off 20% somewhere to
Yeah,
make it work is what I think is gonna happen.
well,
It's just not gonna be good. I
hang
think,
in
but
there and see what happens.
I'll let you know after I talk to George on that one.
I also, it was discussed, we needed talked about getting someone to do some maintenance around the office.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Chris Johnson is interested, so,
Is he gonna come by one day and then we'll
Yeah,
give him a
he-
list of some of the stuff he could do?
yeah, I told him to stop in when he
Okay.
was ready. He's in the process of retiring right now himself.
Mm-hmm.
So
This week?
I think that's the 17th. Yes, and then,
Tell them not to take those benches.
no, I'll tell him, I'll tell him. Yeah.
We're all afraid we're gonna come in one morning and a backhoe is gonna be out there pulling them out.
Yeah. So there's some information here in the office also. Maybe I can, if I can, I'll try to get it on the website. It's called the Acorn, and this is about ordering the Oakland Conservation District. And this is where you can order trees and shrubs and things
Mhm.
like that, in quantity or not. And it tells you all kinds of, it's really informational. So anybody who's interested in
I
that,
had that before
can-
where people
yeah.
come and get, you get a bundle of little saplings where you wanna kind of reforest an area or whatever, yeah.
so anybody who's listening or watches, you can come in, we have some copies on the counter. Or call and we'll email that to you. The other thing, we can finally dispose of the 2020 election. So we haven't had a chance yet to get down there, but I'm looking at waiting until the middle to the end of April. That way the weather will be a little nicer and we'll have it on a Wednesday where
Shred
they
day.
come, they shred here for us and they'll park out there for a couple hours.
The residents can come and do it.
Sure.
I have a question. How much stuff do you think you have to shred this year? I mean, I know in the past we've had lots, but I don't know. if
Well, I
it's-
don't think a lot of our stuff, like the retention schedule for quite a bit of it, it's not ready to go, but we have
Okay.
quite a bit,
Do you?
I
Because
think.
the only reason I ask is because BGYA gets the proceeds from the real estate. The real estate people in
Oh, okay.
Brandon, they have, I think it's Real Estate One, Jason Galt.
Yeah,
Okay, I only bring this up because we might want to consider it. I don't know, but if we have a ton. They bring that truck and then they just go on strictly donations. You can donate whatever you want to and. Real Estate One matches it and it goes to BGYA.
I would have to look into that because I believe we have to have a certain company.
Okay,
Do our shredding, because of
Okay.
the ballots and things.
all right. I
just to
didn't
make sure
know.
it's got
Yeah.
the oil.
Okay,
Oh, is that?
I believe so, somehow.
Sorry, I'm being so, yeah.
I'm like, I into it.
Okay.
So there,
Use it again.
the shredding, that was about, that's all I have actually.
Okay.
Okay,
Somebody called today, wanted to know, I can't remember who it was now, somebody wanted to know about the no-has days, but just so you know, I got a copy of the notice, I passed it around. They got the 4 days picked for next year, but
Oh, they did.
only 2 of the location, I gave them the Vinnie to post,
okay.
but only 2 of the locations, she's gonna let us know when they get the other 2 lined up, so.
Okay.
You may get some questions on it, but Vinnie should have it for the,
I did have
Cable
somebody
pretty soon.
calling too. Maybe it's the same.
there might
person.
be, oh, and she said, yeah, I'll call Patty next time. I said, well, I will put it on, but yeah, if you want,
She
okay.
called me. Yeah, it probably was.
Yep.
Same person.
Okay, well, Teresa, anything?
Yeah, I feel like I've said way, like a lot this meeting. I don't usually do this much, but, okay, so tomorrow is the last day to pay taxes without penalty here in the office. Although taxes for any time of 2022, summer, winter, can still be paid here through February 28th, but late fees apply after Tuesday. So starting Wednesday, the 15th, late fees will accrue for winter. Late fees are accruing for summer already, but March 1st is when we are supposed to be turning over the delinquent taxes to Oakland County, and they would be payable to Oakland County from March 1st on. Okay, the March Board of Review is coming up. I'm going to send the notice to the citizen to be posted for the next 3 weekends in a row. And that's going out to the citizen this Wednesday. But the hours and stuff, all of it is found on the valuation notice that every resident receives from Oakland County Assessing. So you should have received yours in the mail.
Yep.
This past week, right? Read those very carefully, because if you disagree with any of the determinations, you have a right to appeal. You just follow the process, the directions that are on the notice. There's a phone number for calling Oakland County Equalization directly, and they book the appointments through the assessor. So those valuation notices will tell you approximately how much your taxes are going to increase from 2022 to 2023. And your opportunity to appeal anything on that is March Board of Review. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just anticipating we'll get a few more this year because of the 5% COLA adjustment and the transit authority bill showing up at the same time.
So all of that is just, that's obviously not something that the Board of Review is going to be able to do anything about,
But they'll get
because,
questions on
but
it.
they'll probably get questions. And also, the fact that everybody's went up by 5%. And we had a lot of properties change hands in the last year to 2 years. So
Come uncapped.
there's things coming uncapped, and stuff happens. So anyway, that's Board of Review. And of course, every 2 years, anybody who is on the Tax Board of Appeals, who, serves on the Board of Reviews, by law must be trained, and all of our Board of Review individuals are signed up for training within the next couple of weeks, so that they are meeting that certification.
Mylan was by the other day. Did he bring the comparisons?
No, I don't
I
think, I don't
I
think the
wasn't
paper
sure what he
copies are
brought
here
in.
yet.
Okay, that's
No.
what I wondered. I didn't catch him. I
don't
thought
think
they were on the counter. but-
What do you mean, like the books?
Yeah, the books,
Oh.
comparison.
Okay.
You want me to
Um,
look? I just heard him when he came in, but
Well,
It popped his
if
head.
they're
in.
not here yet, they'll be here anytime.
yeah,
I think that's right. The postage.
that's what I thought I heard, but I wasn't sure.
Okay. The 2020.
The X postage machine.
Okay,
Excuse me.
so that's it for treasurer's
Okay,
office.
well, that's it. Any public comment? Anything you want to ask me, Noreen, you haven't asked at home?
Let's go.
All right, well, then if not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the regular meeting and we reconvene for the fire board meeting.
Okay, second to that,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned and we'll reconvene. Kevin, Chief, the meeting is yours.
We had 70 calls for the month of January. Currently, we're, about 2.25 calls per day going right now. New business, we had, safety recommended for your consideration, catching a late fee for failure to pay the fire inspections.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I don't know what the recommended amount would be. She recommended $25, but. That's appropriate.
What's the inspection on for single inspections? Is it 45? 65? Okay,
Like $25.
Mhm.
that sound good? Can we do
Are
that by
most of them
motion?
single inspections?
we could
Is
do that by
Tamarack the only
Yeah, it's in
multi?
the fee schedule,
No,
right?
they're putting in multi, but most of them are singles.
Okay.
Well, if
so-
they had
Because
multiple.
multis, it's usually a percentage
Oh, really? Well,
per month.
okay.
An incremental increase too might persuade people to pay it a little
Right.
bit faster. If it's $25, doesn't matter if I pay it next month or 3 years from now.
Mhm.
So maybe,
Each one.
are you suggesting doing 25 to begin with, and then maybe at 5% after that, or $5 a month after that? Then it gets cumbersome to keep track of all that.
What
Um,
are you leaving? Rid of the bug, because if you smack it.
oh,
Oh,
I saw that. Snake. I wasn't sure what he was doing. Right.
$10 a month or something. I don't really know.
About, for now, we just recommend that the $25 charge and then we'll reevaluate. If it's a $65 charge and you're charging the next $25.
it'll get their attention. Yeah.
And then,
Well, with the waste haulers, they have to pay $100 per year per vehicle, and if they don't have their stuff in by, is it April 15th or is it March 15th? Whatever their due date is, we tack on $75 per vehicle. I mean, that's in the ordinances. And most of them want to avoid that. There's a couple that have had to pay that late fee, and they do,
Mhm.
but, so I mean, that's.
So then that
it's a
could go on the
hefty-
initial bill is if you do remit in 30 days.
Well, it's part of the ordinance
what's,
for the waste haulers.
what's their fee?
Their fee is $100 per vehicle per year. And then the late fee, if they don't have it permitted by the deadline, is $75 per vehicle.
If we have to send a second bill notice out to these people that didn't pay, that usually costs about, most people say that's 13 to 15 bucks a bill anyway. We gotta charge more than that, I think, to make it worthwhile.
Well, it needs to be recurrent. I think, yeah.
Okay. Well, what do we want?
I think that's a good idea to assess a late fee.
So you're recommending,
$25.
I said $25 and then. I guess I'm recommending we do an extra $25 and then see where that goes, I guess, and then. In the future, if we want to amend it again, fine, but
All right.
I think $25 on a $65 charge is, fairly hefty.
Well, what do we have to hold over them if they, until they pay it, they don't get their inspection certificate?
It's just a re-inspection review. Honestly,
Mhm.
prior to Stacy doing them, I don't think they were even billed, so it's
Okay.
new for everybody, so. Let's just try $25. That's what my recommendation is, $25 fee, and then, and then 6 months later, another $25, I guess.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve a $25 late fee on the fire inspections that aren't paid on time.
I'll second that.
Okay, and then we can look at it later for the rest. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's approved.
Okay,
Thank you, Stacy. That was good.
we had a company come out and talk to us about training and documentation and training and things. He's a startup, he's local, he's from Woodward, and he retired from Woodward Fire. And Right Track Response Solutions, and what they do is basically he has a website where you can put all your training and things on there. So it not only documents the trainings. According to him, you can put trainings on there, let's say your annual trainings for like the 4-gas monitor, for biohazard training and things that everyone's supposed to do every year. you can put this on, you can watch the video, and then you sign in, and then you sign in twice, and it documents that you watch the video. So it should make some things easier. It's still a lot of work for people to keep track of. Of course, the state has also added that the firefighters have to get CEs now, but it's wide open. It's like, it could be on anything, and we don't know how we're gonna track it or how we're gonna check it yet, so. One of the, his system is $35 per member per year. That comes out to about $1,750 a year. We're not sure we're gonna use it yet. We're still, he's a startup, so Springfield's using them. White Lake is using them. Milford are using them. They're still brand new, and they don't know whether they like it or not yet. So I just like a motion to approve that if we decide to use it. It's basically because I wouldn't start it till next budget anyway. But. So approval to spend up to $35 per member.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you guys are, just for the general public to understand this, you're required to take certain trainings and you're required to document that you've done these trainings.
We have trainings every Wednesday, and then we have other trainings like during the week. Let's say Stacy's teaching, Paul Keller how to run the pumps or something on there. We could put those all in there, and it's a better tracking method than what we currently do, because.
And ultimately, the state's gonna somehow figure out how they wanna track it.
Correct, and this, if you, like I told him, garbage in, garbage out, but take someone to maintain it, obviously. And currently what we're using is the training sheets, and we keep a paper copy of them, but like, it's all manual system, so it'd be nice to have a kind of like what Med Control has, where we can document our CEs for those. But this way, individuals could go in there and put in their own certifications if they have a copy of the type deal. So let's say if Stacy went to command and staff class, she could put in her command and staff certificate and things. Or if I go to a hazmat class, thing like that. I guess it's a centralized area where we could keep track of it electronic of all the trainings. And I just think, it's an expense, yeah, but it's not a huge expense. And the other systems that are available are much more expensive.
Another question, is it possible you can run reports, like, could you run a report on Stacy and have it list all her trainings?
Yes, that's exactly.
Could you run a report on the pump class and see who took it, things like that? You can get.
Just slice and dice it anyway.
Or if you're doing trainings every Wednesday, does that now possibly open up for other people who need a specific training and for us to
We
provide?
talked about also recording the class,
Mhm.
and some classes we can do that, some of the medical ones we cannot do.
Sure.
Because they have to be in person.
Right.
But,
Right.
Let's face it, for the fire ones, right now, they say you can watch, a movie, you can watch Backdraft. No, that's fire training. Basically, you can tell almost anything.
All right.
So,
As long as they don't have to send one out, like somebody or his last dance, whatever that was.
Well, I do know that's something that professionals have to
Mhm.
do is, keep track of all of their continuing education. And I think that any system that makes it easier to track it is, it's probably worth the money that's spent on it. So.
he's a local guy, and he seems to be passionate about this. I mean,
Yeah.
he's concerned, he wants to keep adding on to it. I'm sure the price will go up as he keeps adding on to it. And so for now, we can get in, but it keeps track. I mean, if we stayed with him every year, you go back 10 years, it's like when to work. I go back, I think 14 years now and see who worked on, 14 years ago, because it keeps all that data. So pretty much the same thing. And then as people drop out, you can print out, I think it's print out anyway, or capture what they had in the system before that person's deleted. So we've had, in the past when we, people come to us and, our people say, oh, I need all my CEs that I've done over the past 2 years. Well, it's not up to us to keep your CEs. So,
Right.
I mean, too bad, but then it's like, oh, I need a copy of this certificate. So if we have them all loaded up there, they've helped us out with the med controls doing that now for the medical side. And that started maybe 3 years ago. So, but we need to do the same for the fire training, and it also will help us for, she can run the list and say, oh, you know, Gina didn't do her biohazards classes, and you know, now you gotta call her.
Again.
As you
One.
I would like a motion to approve up to, starting next fiscal year, up to $35 per member for the right track response solutions software to keep track of our training.
And you said that was about 1,700 at this point.
1750, we count 50 people. That's just a rough estimate.
Right start,
Right track response solutions.
right track, response solutions, right track response. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve up to $1,750 in fiscal year 2023 to 2024 for right track response solutions tracking system to keep track of firefighters training.
I'll support that.
Okay, any other
Did you get
questions?
that?
Did, my only thought was what if there were additional firefighters?
Well, he asked for up to,
Yeah, we don't really, it's very much. 50 is more than I currently have to put in there, but we've had 50 in our when to work for 14 years and I haven't gone over that number yet. So it would vary as, you know, and basically, I guess another way to say it's $35 per member per year. That way it could vary. but-
so would you like me to change the motion? I'd like to make a motion that we approve up to $35 per member per year with starting in the fiscal 2023 to 2024 year for right track response solutions software for the fire department.
Okay, and that
I'll
was your
still
second.
support that,
Jen?
yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor, say aye.
It's fun.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, even though we haven't spent it yet. Okay,
Yeah,
take the roll call if you would, you know.
Bill,
yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
that is you.
And one more is, as you know, Jeff Burdast,
Good guy.
left our full time, went to Springfield, and he's sent us a letter of resignation that I forwarded to Patty, and he wanted me to bring it up so that you can all accept his letter of resignation.
Oh, he's a
But
good
he's
guy,
still
but
there
he's still gonna
Friday.
work
He's
part-time.
gonna work for us on Friday.
That's good. On Friday, is it? Okay. Swing by on a Friday.
Yeah, go ahead. He's a good guy.
Mhm.
Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to accept his letter of resignation. then.
Can we have a motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we need a motion
Do
to,
we need to do that? That's the way it works?
okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to make that? You want me to? Make a motion that we accept Jeff Burdess's letter of resignation, wish him well. I'm glad he's still working for us part-time.
Mhm.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, chief.
Just a quick update, the Alpha 3 is being wrapped. I've not seen it lately.
The Janelle mobile? The Janelle mobile?
Yeah, don't mind.
Is that what you're saying?
We should call the
how's
last.
the cart one?
The letter.
But, and then the other one's in the process, and, I think we're getting the cut this week.
Might call him,
What's
So,
the time on the wrap?
soon.
One of us was there here today, right? Was that what you brought? Did somebody bring in that ambulance today? The back was yellow. Yellow red. Is it
That's
colored?
47.
Or is it-
I don't think we got it today. I didn't hear anything about it.
No, that was me. It's 47.
Is that the guy in Fenton that Barry uses?
Seems like a good guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I went met him. He's a former Marine too, so he's a great guy. Must be. That's all I had. If there's any questions.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second to that?
Second.
Any questions or comments? And from the audience? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay, Noreen, you can go ahead.
All right.